Hey, my name is Crunk Chocolate, and welcome to End of the Season Report, part of Shades of Blues podcast content season streaming live on FanFest. Shout out to all of our Patreonies out there watching as well. It is the off season, so we can all relax a little bit on our tribalism. Here I am asking some of my favorite people about the clubs in the Premier League or Women's Super League. Today, we talk about our opinionated neighbors next door. I wore the same colors to make them feel a little bit comfortable. Maybe we'll see if it works.
You're a stand-up guy. You're a good guy.
I saw that there's somebody on Twitter who just looks like you guys are shades of red, and I was just like, I literally just wanted to be like, fuck off, bro. The way that people get weird and that's actually why I specifically say we can turn down our tribalism. Like it's all season, no one's playing. Like this is like, what else are we supposed to do? You just want me to talk about transfers every day for the next like 3 months? Like, people are dumb. Let's get out here, let's talk about some other clubs, let's have some fun. And who said I'm going to say positive and nice things about Manchester United the entire time? Like, what are we talking about? Like, it is what it is. But hey, if there's anybody that I have to listen to about this club with, I picked a good one. Shout out. Met the homie when I was in New York for the Man City US tour last year. Linked up, and hey, it's just been a good relationship that's been building, despite our differences.
We can still come to the table because we love football. It is what
exactly. All right, and Shady Gang, please give it up for our homie Simo. How are you, my friend?
Thank you. I'm well. Let me if you haven't heard, I'm Simo from the Simo Speaks podcast network. Let's cover Manchester United, as Crunk mentioned, as well as Morocco a lot. I talk about Morocco. I talk about AFCON, African football a lot, but I bring in guests regularly to do different topics. We've done combined best balled 11 to play football. We just did a La Liga draft that literally just got uploaded. So we keep it spicy. Nice. We shake things up. But, if you listen to the pod, I love Pep. I absolutely adore him. I think he is one of the funniest guys we have in the sport, right? Number one, I care about the soundbite. All right, look, the way he can command the media is just absolutely incredible. I also mentioned, he was going through a lot of personal stuff. I made a point on my podcast. We do not mock personal issues, especially those that involve romance and love. We are all lover boys over here, and we were rooting for them to get back together, and we were rooting for Pep Guardiola this whole entire year, okay? So we put the tribalism aside when it comes to love.
Hey, we love over here. Well, and the funniest thing about that situation is, we struggle October through December. We then find out that him and his wife, they're on the rocks. Things aren't well. He has the situation where he says, I want to harm myself. He's like scratching himself up. And then you find out that they've gotten back together, and then all of a sudden the team is on a run and we're winning, and it's like, how? That's
good luck, everybody else. Hey, good luck, everybody else. Listen,
exactly.
They're back together. It's over. It's over for me. It's over for everyone else.
But also, that's relatable. That's relatable content. You and your girl, your significant other, your partner, you're down. You are at odds. You know what? Even the great Pep Guardiola can start slacking at work when his love life is in shambles. Like that is everybody. That is
we're all human, man. We're all human.
Like, I love it, man. It was so funny. But the way that this works is there are 5 categories: kits, squad, manager, supporters, and front office. Our guests will be grading each one A through F. Feel free to use pluses or minuses, and simple enough in it. We will start with kits. We'll do home, away, and third. And United, they always have the red kit. And obviously, what this kit says to me is, we'll say the way is a little fun and funky, but was oh boy really trying to save that much money where he was just like, just throw some stripes on it and call it a day?
Do I give my grading now?
Yeah,
Do I
go
just
for it.
give it, for the home standard red kit, I gave it a 7 out of 10, which translates to a C. It's just C flat. I think it meets the requirement. It's the standard Red Devils kit. It's the red shirt that you're gonna get, but maybe especially with how they performed this year, you go 15, 20 years from now, people aren't gonna be able to pick out what year exactly this year's kit with the Snapdragon, what year it stood out. It's one of those that doesn't really pop too much, but the best kit I think United House was definitely the third. I think this one with the retro Adidas trefoil and the classic Devil, I thought that one was an A. I thought it was nice creamish off-white, one you could wear even outside of, not even playing footy. You could just go step outside tonight, just put that kit on. You're looking straight. The away kit, the blue one, I enjoyed it. The games weren't the best when we wore that. I think we might have beat Arsenal wearing that, so that was okay. But for the most part, I associate a lot of games with the performance and I associate the jerseys with the performance that happened in those games sometimes. And so with the blue one, every time I would see Mazraoui show up in that joint, I would look. I'm gonna have to plug my Moroccan brother on you now, bro. So I got the blue one. I got it, but I wasn't a fan of the collars.
Oh, so, you're not a collar guy, okay?
Not all the time. I prefer the crew neck, but if it's gonna be a collar, I would prefer either a 2 or a 3 button. Like a polo type of situation, not hybrid fusion. It's weird. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. The blue one I would give a B. So this one is an A. The blue one is a B, which is the away kit, and then the home kit a C. I wasn't too over the moon.
Yeah, and I'm with you. If there was a kit that I would have to say is the better of the three, it is the third kit. Yeah, that's nice. And I don't know, was that this last year? No, that was 2 years ago when they did that whole like you're the Devils, make the pact, and it was just like with a bunch of like old,
we were just summoning bad vibes.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Like I get why they did it, because they even like embraced that it was like edgy, they knew what they were doing. But it was just still just like
it's tough. It's tough, it's man.
Too edgy. This feels like this should be like an AI thing that like a fan made, not actually coming from Man United. But I A for effort. Hey,
keep the fans away from AI, please. I do not need to see some of these. Listen, I saw a Ryan Shirky edit. I don't know if you were the one that posted it. That brother looked like me. Okay, let's not do that.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, that was. And
Ryan Shirky in the City jersey, he looked like me.
And it'll be fine. They won't hear about this. But they reached out to me, like they DM'd me, being like, "Bruh, why would you say mean things about this? Just because it's AI doesn't mean that I didn't work hard to make this. No. It took so much creativity to do this." And I was like, "Bro, what do we even do?" Like,
no. There's designers out there. I've seen what people can create.
I know. Oh no, definitely.
This was created by an in-house designer. Come on. There's people out there that can create things and they have the actual passion. It's not just give it a prompt and let's see what comes out.
Well, and I make all of our graphics and everything. Like I am an artist. I am a creative. I've done my own like non-football based art and things like that. It just, for the most part, you know how people come at you. That kind of is. I'm so broken on social media. Once upon a time, I would have explained. I'm an artist, so like I understand what you're saying and bro everything, but there are levels to this. But my main thing was they had banter towards Man City's account because they didn't dub that their Shirky's announcement video was good enough. So they're basically just like, Man City, you could have called us, and then it's the AI video. And it's like, do you think that they couldn't have done this? But basically I was just like, bro, why are you even shooting at their academy? They have actual artists that
let me tell you
build
something.
it. It was
Let me
so
tell you, so
it was so stupid.
as an opposing fan, I want to see you guys not do well. I couldn't give two shits about the announcement video. I am terrified of Marmouche and Shirky. What they are going to light
Oh, it's gonna be
United
great.
up.
Yeah,
I don't care about the announcement video stuff. Now we're just asking for
it's
the
all
game's
social media
gone. If
bullshit.
all we
Yeah,
care about is the announcement video, the game's gone.
yeah. Well, and basically, yeah. First, they got into the creativity, and then I was like, bro, you just went at their team, or at the social team. The social team works hard, and they're like, it's not that deep though. And then I replied back, I was like, you just DM'd me because you were offended because you assumed that I was talking about the fact that you weren't creative, and you went all this. And he's like, no, bro, it's not that deep because if you wouldn't even said it, I wouldn't even message you. I was like, oh, you're a fucking child. You're a kid. You're an idiot. Like, you're the only reason why I messaged you. Are you serious?
I know you are, but what am I? You gotta just let it go.
Like it's just like I know. I legit was just like, oh my god, this is so stupid. Like, why his post? Their post is going crazy. Like it has like 500 retweets. Like it's being and you're DMing me about the fact that you don't like that I didn't show you love. Like, bro, chill out. Take all this other positivity. Take all this other positivity. You're fine. You're fine. I'm nobody. And they even said that, oh, you know, I look up to your account, so it just hurt a little. And I was like, okay, I understand.
That's good. That's good. Hey, listen, we support that over at Simo Speaks. Proper gaslighting. I might have never heard of you, but once we get into it, bro, I was a fan. All right, I was a fan, bro. All right, you're gonna do me like that? All right, man.
You were one of the good accounts. I can't believe you did that. Oh man, sorry, those goofballs got me super thrown off.
Yeah, my bad for the AI detour. I didn't mean to put us on that path.
Fucking AI. Oh my gosh. No, we're good. I mean, we're just gonna move on to the next category, which is manager Ruben Amorim. So what I will say is, throughout this whole Ruben Amorim, he was announced. He was obviously like the trendy manager, yada yada. But then we lose to Sporting in the Champions League, and I'm just like, fuck. Maybe United really did get a new good one, because they came out and they played us. And then he comes to Manchester and we capitulate in the first Manchester derby, giving up the penalty. Nunes gives up the penalty. The comeback, the 2 goals in like 12 minutes, in the final 12 minutes of the match. But then there was like the crumble. There was all this chaos. There were all these leaks and blah, 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 blah. But what I want to give him a little bit of credit, because it was maybe the first knockout game match in whatever European competition you guys are in, and
whatever competition, you know, it's
not whatever competition.
It's not the big one.
Sorry. And I remember watching it. I was at the airport, just watching, and I remember just being like, wait. Am I seeing a pattern in play? Wait, are these players actually trying hard? Are they actually hustling? Wait, this doesn't seem to be chaotic. There was like, for a moment, all of a sudden I could actually see that they were playing football. The players knew where to go, what to do, who to pass to. If this circumstance, look over here. If this circumstance, go over here. And I mean, yes, you struggled. You haven't had the wins. But that's more so the players on the squad, not necessarily.
No, they've been drilled. They've been drilled to know what to do. You know, they don't look confused as they did maybe in the beginning of the season. But, you know, if I was going to give them a grade, when I was planning this out, I actually pulled out 3 grades. I gave one for Eric Ten Hag, I gave one for Ruud van Nistelrooy, and I gave one for Ruben Amorim. Man, we had 3 managers. I'm giving out 3 report cards. I'm giving out 3 report cards, man. And starting off with Eric Ten Hag, I'm giving him an F. All right, that guy gets a straight F. Look, I was disillusioned at the end of last season, but winning the FA Cup and the Derby against, you know, obviously, it's going to make you feel good, right? You don't want to lose that game. But it made me feel like we kind of have a chance starting, you know, next season, etc. after winning the FA Cup. But I went out to a United game in September, and I watched Tottenham put belt to ass against United 3-0, and Bruno get a red card. This is in person. I turned my phone off for 24 hours. You could have reached me if you wanted something. It doesn't matter. So for that alone, F minus, because you said we could do the plus and minus.
I love it.
And then for Rude, look, he took charge of 4 matches, interim head coach. Leicester is Leicester. Obviously, we see where they are. They got, it wasn't great for them. Got the club's first victory in the whatever European tournament you were talking about, the whatever, with a Thursday night one.
Whatever it is.
And he drew against Maresca's Chelsea. Look, Rude is a pure bagsman, and he's a club legend. I have a thing over at Simo Speaks where if you were a player at the time or you were a fan of those players, any United player that wore the jersey that said Vodafone across, if that was a sponsor, Vodafone, you are a Voda boy, part of the Simo Speaks Voda Boys network. And so I'm giving my Voda brother an A+. Okay.
Oh.
Rude did good. I'm rating him. I don't care that. Hey, listen, I'm talking about what he did at United, not Leicester. Hey, we're not looking at that. Leicester might have won that. Hey, that's on them. At United, he was all right. So I'm gonna give him an A+. But then for Amorim, the main one, obviously the one you're referencing, new system, none of his players. I've made my criticisms clear. I think he needs to be willing to adapt to the players that he has and be willing to be a bit more flexible. I think he's too rigid. He has a philosophy. Look, he said that he is always going to play 3 at the back. He's always going to play his way. I was kind of peeved in the beginning because I was like, man, why can't you just kind of go to 4 at the back just for like sometimes, right? Just because these guys don't know how to do it. And he did. Look, he would start the game off with 4 in the back, transition into 3, and then it would be fluid. But he would kind of see. But I think after a few games, he was like, let me just stick to 3 at the back at this point because these guys, they're too confused. His low baller IQ, some of these guys, man. You can't have them do too much stuff. So he's like, let me just stick to 3 at the back. I'm going to knock points off. I did not like the handling of Rashford. Rashford is my guy. Yeah, I'm a Rashford guy. I'm a Pogba guy. I come to school of Martial and Jay Lings. Okay, this is what I'm on. So I back my brothers. I wasn't a fan of, little comments in the media. Look, he's young. Amorim, he's young manager, super raw, sensitive. He says, like, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He says what he wants. Language barrier. So when he's translating things, he might even, less finesse than he would say it if it was in his native tongue. He's just kind of boom, straight out there. And I rate that to a certain extent. But when you start talking about, and for Rashford's case, he said, I will put the goalkeeping coach out there if I saw him trying harder. I don't like comments like that. I don't think you should be throwing players under the bus. Other chirps, whispers, people say that this was a board of directors thing, Rashford's wages. So you're going to try to get him off the squad in order to get a move, et cetera, et cetera. Look, I understand things happen behind the scenes, but when you're telling me in the media this guy's not doing well, et cetera, but I saw him bag 2 goals in your first 2 games managing, I'm going to have a hard time believing that it's a performance thing. All right?
I'm not saying it's nonsense, but it sounds like nonsense.
You get me? So I'm going to give him C- because I did like beating City. I did like knocking out Arsenal in the FA Cup. That was nice. So that kind of brings you up a little bit, but I've seen too many clear mistakes from he's a bit emotional even as a manager on the sideline sometimes. And that's what be expected from a young guy. I was never a fan of relying on winning Europa, and that's going to be the savior of our season. So I gave him a lot of points when months ago they asked him, would winning Europa save your season? He said in the media, no, nothing can save our season. I actually respect him saying that. It's hard for people to digest because he also said that this is the worst group of United players ever. And he got a lot of pushback from United legends, staff, board members saying that you can't say stuff like that in the media, but look where United finished 15th. So to a certain extent, I do rate his honesty. C.
That's fair. Well, are you hopeful after seeing some of the moves, the players that they brought in? They seem
I would say I back the manager. until I see that you're losing your identity. I back Amram. You know, I don't like some of the things he says, like I said about Rashford, but I back him. He sticks to his identity. He said we're gonna play my way. I think he's getting off to a great start by not getting former Sporting players. Ten Hag was abusing the Eredivisie. He was abusing Ajax. He was just getting all his former players, man. So I did not like that at all. I do appreciate Amram being a bit more creative. You know, I do think a lot of it is also Ineos. It's not all just up to him, similar to how it was Ten Hag. I think a new ownership group definitely is having more of their hand on making decisions. So I'll say I'm excited to see where we'll go.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. I'm happy to see what happens. You know, obviously, it's just very interesting as a whole. You know, with the club, with Ratcliffe, whatever his name is, doing everything that he's doing to like the everyday working staff and claiming that you guys are broke, but then spending all this money on people like that it's and then supposedly want the stadium. So like it's all just but also City, we have our own problems with our season tickets. Like everybody has, it's all just like billionaire problems. And in the end, we all just need to try to stick up because even with the Manchester United stuff, it's getting rid of the everyday people so you can spend stupid amount of money and make excuses for it. And then City, just they're trying to price out all of our traditional fans, like the fans who have been there forever. And it's just all.
Yeah, I was reading something about how difficult it is for City fans. I mean, it's for all the Prem teams, but especially for City fans, how hard it is to transfer over a ticket. You know, if you want to give a ticket over to like a relative, if you can't make it to the game, some instances they force you to sell it back to the team. I know United does that too. I think that stuff is ridiculous, man. If you get a ticket in your season pass ticket own, you should be able to give that ticket away to somebody if you want them to go to the game. That's how people get introduced into the sport. You know, you shouldn't have to sell it at a loss back to the team so that the team can then make a profit. So all of it is, like you said, it billionaire problems, and it all just trickles down. Everybody else got to deal with it.
Okay. Well, let's keep it moving to the squad. And how did you think the squad did in the 24-25 season, including a grade?
Abysmal. You know, I don't rate most of these guys anyway. Bruno is all right. Look, a chaos baller. L1 triangle if you play FIFA on PlayStation. This guy is just lobbing crosses, trying to make things happen, but he has to spam them because he doesn't feel like he has enough time. He feels like there's a lot of pressure. So I think Bruno, I don't think he necessarily elevates a team, but I think if he's on a good team already, it elevates him as a player. So that's my thoughts on Bruno. I don't think Bruno is a bad player at all. I was hoping we would be able to maybe, make a nice return on investment. Those Saudi links, we're looking a little bit strong, like we were going to make some money, but it turns out he's going to stay. I'm happy with him staying just because he obviously cares a lot about the squad. The bright spots are what everybody can see. Ahmad had a great year, but there's still another step I think he needs to take. Kobe is probably my favorite player on the team right now. Kobe Mainu dealt with some injury issues and adjusting to the system. And that's where I kind of struggle with Amram. I think Kobe is so good. You need to fit the system around him instead of saying that he just doesn't work. I think Kobe is that good that you need to find a way to make the system fit his strengths. And I think that's the player with the highest ceiling at United.
Yeah, a lot of young players that are coming up, and they do look like they could be ballers. And it is interesting if Amram can embrace that, or if, like you said, he's going to try to get rid of him simply because he doesn't have the creative flexibility to figure out how to make this player excel. Because it's like pop, but also I'm not trying to compare him to Pep, but every single year, like we know our thing is possession. We know hold on to the ball, make the right decisions, triangles, yada yada. But how we go at that, the formation we use, it changes every year. It'll change halfway through the year. But in the end, it's still Pep ball. It's just how it comes out and how the players handle it. That's what adjusts and changes depending on who's playing and things like that. And maybe it's just because he's been at Sporting for so long and coming here, it's a lot different. Like maybe after a year or two, if he makes it that far, his style can grow and evolve, and he can add more intricacies to it and things like that.
Hey, look, Pep is one of one, man. If he can be a B Tech or a C Tech version of Pep, that's fine by me. Look, I'll take that.
That's fair. That's fair.
And I want to give a shout out to Lenny Yoro. Coming over from League One. I rate League One heavily. I was so happy to see PSG win the Champions League. Ugarte came over from PSG. That was my biggest miss of the year. Yes. I thought Ugarte would work at United. I found out within like 20 minutes of his first game that this was not it, and this was not gonna be. Yeah, so yeah. I'm happy Yoro worked out because that means my League One agenda is still going strong. I can still claim that it's a strong league and it is not a farmers league.
Hey, we're eating off of the Liga right now.
Come on! Oh yeah. I mean, especially with the league. Oh yeah.
Chuma Ball, we got Kuzinov, Doku, Cherky. Yeah, we've definitely gotten a few players from Liga. Yeah.
So the squad D, you don't finish 15th, and you're not gonna get a good grade from me in 15th. Like that's just not gonna happen. And I remember you guys winning Champions League in Moscow. That was my introduction. All right, we stole RVP Van Persie to win the league. You know what? 15th isn't gonna do it. That's F because. F. I'm changing it from D to F because people would say on podcasts, they would say time to talk about relegation fodder and then start talking about United. So F because you had to you made that happen. That's an F.
They're like truly if this set of 3 teams that got promoted / relegated, if Southampton wasn't literally one of the worst Premier League clubs of all time. We have Leicester City, who got their manager, who was a big reason for their promotion, was snatched weeks before the league started. Like all 3 of those teams struggled for their own reason, and maybe if it was a more the parity was at the top and the bottom of the table, it could have been real scary for United and Tottenham.
I'm telling you, it was getting scary regardless. I was getting scared regardless. Too close for comfort, man. What are we talking about? When I did my predictions at the beginning of the season, I had United 4th. Huh? No way. Yeah. Wow. No, thank you. F.
No, that's a fall. Yeah, that's a fall. Okay, so I'm so confused. Why doesn't Matthias de Ligt work there? Like what because he's a young dude. I mean, he struggled when he was at Bayern as well. Like company couldn't figure out what to do with him.
I think nobody can figure out what to do with him. I wasn't a big fan on him to begin with, but I think he can do a serviceable job. I think a 7 out of 10, which isn't what you need at United. I think United, you need an 8 out of 10 center back regularly. I grew up watching Rio and Vidic. Vidic was diving while people were kicking his head. 7 out of 10 isn't going to cut it. And I would even say de Ligt can be brought down to a 6 out of 10. I don't think he's that great. I think he's a journeyman to a certain extent. But I will say he shows passion, and I'm a passion merchant to a certain extent. I like to see you care. And so I think he worked out decently in certain games when we were playing 4 at the back, but I think he struggles. I think he absolutely struggles at 3 at back. I think Maguire works out much better at 3 in the back because he can play more as an anchor defensive role. So listen, man, I've done a 180 on Maguire. I like the guy. Obviously, if some money came in to flip him, look, I'm here to win. All right, I'm not here to just be friends and be happy with the players. So if we can build on that and move on, of course, that's nice. But as of right now, if I had to pick one or the other, I'm taking Maguire over de Ligt.
Oh, definitely. Maguire has shown leadership and all that through the end of the season. Yeah, I don't get the de Ligt thing. Like he's 25. You should not be 25 and already be considered a journeyman. Like that's not a good look. That's not a good look. But but even going back to the young players that y'all have, the Aiden Heaven, he looks like he could potentially be a baller. You got Diallo, like you were talking about Mainu. Like if he can just figure out how to get things clicking with those 3, and this young, and obviously you have the players. Bruno said no to Saudi money to stay, apparently. And
They need to ask me. They need to give me that offer.
he and man, the whole
Here's
thing
my
with
thing. My
go
thing
for it.
about young. Oh man, we could talk about Garnacho for 20 hours straight.
It's so
But my
crazy.
thing about young players is I don't like to ever put too much emphasis on them or
Right.
you know put too much pressure on them because the class of '92 days with Gary Neville and David Beckham and Paul Scholes and Ryan Giggs, those days are gone. That's it. You forget about that. We need people that know how to play in the Prem, veterans to a certain extent. You know, I do appreciate that 20, 26, 28 range to be carrying the squad. I don't like having so many young guys on the team because you know United is no matter what rival clubs want to say, United is a big club in the media, right? It's talked about regularly. There's segments that are dedicated to it, and that comes with fans and that comes with haters. And I don't like seeing the spotlight on young players at all because the worst thing is abuse, online abuse, honestly. And you can start seeing the confidence like leave, right? Because these guys are all online. As much as they like to lie and say that no, I don't look at that stuff, they all look at the stuff. They all know what's going on. They all know the memes. And so with young players specifically, I don't think it's a good thing for their development to be exposed so early on. I do think it's nice for somebody like Cheeto. We're kind of Cheeto Obi, little by little putting him in it, but I do think that he still needs a little bit more reps coming off the bench, playing maybe the last 20, 30 minutes. I don't think this kid should be starting yet. I don't think it's worth any of the hassle that will come from it. I don't think he needs to be answering any questions. And I think there's two strikers that are older than him that need to be doing the job. And I think that's what comes down to all of these players. All these young guys have players that are older than them and, you know, more experienced, and they all get paid more than these younger guys too that need to be performing at that level, but they're not performing, so the young guy has to take the opportunity. I'm not a fan of this whole scenario to begin with. The guy that's making a lot of money needs to perform. The young guys need to be slowly transitioned in. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, no, it did. No, you're great. You're great. I'm trying to let's see any other things about the squad. Okay, what's your thoughts on Xerxes? Because he's another. I mean, obviously you have a set of players that are a lot of passion gets given to them between Garnacho and Xerxes, and even you can even throw in Holland in there in that conversation. Like
out of those three, listen, I'm Team Xerxes. Out of those three, right? If I had to pick a silo to jump into, we've all heard of XG, right? Expected goals. Xerxes has created something. XN, expected nutmegs. Xerxes averages 2 a game. To me, that's passion. I respect it, and I like Xerxes. I was gonna talk about the general fan support, right, and whatever grade I was gonna give them. The match going fans always back. They back the team so heavily, even if the team is doing poor. I'm talking about when I went to the Tottenham game. It's raining. Bruno got a red card. We're losing 3-0, and they're clapping the whole team off. And I'm over here. I'm in shock. That means they got love. They love the team, so they're always backing them. But when I saw what they did with Xerxes and they were booing him, I can't give you an A for that. Xerxes did great in Serie A, and I think now everyone can see transitioning from Serie A, right? And you're gonna see it soon with your new star or Power Rangers that you just got. You're gonna see that soon. I think transitioning, especially as a striker, you know, going from Serie A to the Prem is super hard. It's a much more physical league with the center backs, right? It's less technical defending in terms of how the defenders are going to line up with the striker. Man, in England, they could kind of just, you know, shoulder to shoulder check you. Are you, you know, can you handle it? You know, can you put your body there? And so I always think that when it comes to buying strikers, you gotta not look. You have to look in the most physical-ish leagues, right? I think Germany is not. It's not a fake league, if that makes sense. Haaland's goals were real. Yeah. Those goals that he got for Dortmund were real goals. And you saw that when he came over to City, not only did it transition, there was another step he was even able to take under Pep. I think with Serie A right now, they're on fraud watch as a league when it comes to their bagsmen for their number 9s. I think other positions are absolutely fine. Their wingers are fine. Their center mids, their center backs. Keepers are... You know, I got my keeper came from Italy, so I'm not a big fan. So at the very front and at the very end of the field is fraud watch for Serie A, but everything else in the middle is good.
That's yeah. Well, I mean, we can continue and move on to the next category, which is the supporters. And hey, you said you didn't give them an A because of kind of how they treated players. So what
Xerxes
grade would you give them?
specifically. The
Oh, Xerxes
booing, the
specific.
booing Xerxes specifically. I'm like, come on, guys. Like Garnacho, you see what Garnacho's been doing the whole entire season. Mason Mount gives us, 3 hair flicks a half. Luke Shaw doesn't show up. Xerxes trying, right? And to boo a guy that just signed. He's still, mid 20s. Yeah. I don't rate that at all. That's gonna have to drop from an A to a B. Just be that one mark is gonna drop you down 20 points for me. B minus even. But the outside of Magic fans, I think the fan base is incredibly disillusioned. I think they're super cynical. Every fan is just super cynical and trying to find the humor, right? Because if you don't laugh, you'll cry type of situation. And fair. The more optimistic fans say that football is cyclical and that, over time, things will always come back around, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't really know if I believe in that philosophy. I think you need to be of the mentality of win now, always. I think that is the new mentality. You need to always just win now, because if you ever take your foot off the gas for a little bit, that's it, right? Like I would say City, the Rodri injury hindered them a lot. And you can tell me what you think. I don't think City thought they were going to play Gundogan as much as they did this season.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%.
Right? And you still finished where in the table? You still finished third. That is so annoying. You still finished third. All of that happened and you still finished third. Yeah. If you are in the win now mentality, even if you're failing somewhat, people are saying this was Pep's worst season because of the time period that he took where he was just losing games. And he was third. What do you say about the coaches, the 3 coaches that all have their names to United that finished 15th? Well, they had great years, huh? If this was Pep's worst year, what are we talking
about? Oh, yeah. That October through December, I believe it was
funny.
Like October.
I was having a blast. I thought it was the funniest.
Oh yeah, bro!
I thought it was funny. Hey, but the scratching on the head stuff, not funny. I was like, yeah, this is something that's going on back here. Hopefully, we can move on past this, because that wasn't, But the signing the autographs, talking to the guys. What do you want to be? You want to be a chef? Prepare.
Oh
better.
Yeah, the people trying to
prepare better.
Yeah.
Oh, class. This guy is one of one.
Yeah. I'll do this for you this one time, but if I see you again, I'm gonna get security on you. Like,
you are young. You are old.
He's like this old guy. Like there's nothing else for him, so I guess I get this. Pep is he's the best. He's hilarious and eternally thankful to have someone like that part.
I hate him so much. I definitely have Stockholm syndrome. I mean, I watched him beat United's ass with Barca twice, and then he shows up and he wants to be the manager of the team right across the street. Fuck off. This guy's a prick. This guy's a dickhead. What did I do?
I love it. Oh man. Okay. Well, our final segment of our final category is the front office. What is your thoughts on their job, and what grade would you give their front office?
Let me tell you something, man. I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I'm in big trouble. Big trouble, man. Not a fan of the cuts. I dedicated like 4 episodes just talking about the financial aspects of United, the amount of revenue United bring in on a yearly basis. We did a post-season tour. I've never heard of that. I've only heard of pre-season tour. We went to Malaysia 2 days after the last game. What? What is a post-season tour? I've never seen that in my life, where we're going right as soon as the last game is over, we're going somewhere else. The revenue that's coming in on a yearly basis, but all the cuts are coming from the bottom. I mean, so the board makes bad decisions and the working class employee has to suffer and pay for it. Got it. Ratcliffe said something when he got interviewed by Gary Neville. He said, complimentary meals are not typical at a place of employment. Well, I'm glad that you think Manchester United is a typical place of employment. I'm glad that you think typical places of employment are attended by 70,000 people on a weekly basis and millions watching around the world. Do you think that is a typical place of employment? Do you think that's a regular job? All right, man. The Glazers' blatant financial mismanagement got a rule change created in the bylaws of the Premier League when you want to purchase a team. Because of the Glazers' financial mismanagement, rules were created. I will never be able to give them a high grade as long as the Glazers are going to be associated with them. And like I said, for it to be the working class people at the bottom losing their perks, vibes matter at a job. The environment absolutely matters. If you have bad vibes, why do you think good vibes are all of a sudden going to emanate through the stadium?
Mhm.
You know, I watch the City videos where they go behind the scenes, where the social media guys pounding everybody. What are you listening to on your headphones? Oh, I'm just listening to Adele. What do you have in your bag? I watch all those videos. You know why those videos don't come out of United? We don't have those videos. It's bad vibes. It's bad vibes. F.
That's fair. And yeah, it's also, and I don't understand, because everybody, even with these players that are going to United, and people are just like, oh, why would Cunha go there? Oh, why would
United is massive? Hey, United is massive.
And that's what I'm saying.
United is massive.
Like, in the end, it is still Manchester United. The players don't necessarily think about that billionaire shit. Like, bro, they're just footballers. They do not think. And then also they have such an ego. They always are like, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna fix it.
I can fix it. I can fix it. I can do this.
And also being paid $300,000 a week isn't bad. Going from like 100,000, 110,000 to 300. That's a very solid pay raise.
It's not a bad shake at all, man. Come on.
Like, you gonna turn that down just because people say the vibes are bad? Like, what?
Wait. So I understand they want to play in Champions League. Like, I understand this talking point. I absolutely get it. Okay, but do you want to play in Champions League making 80,000 a week, or have a year off where you're not going to play Champions League and you're going to make more money than you've ever made in your... It's the dumbest thing ever. Like, listen, I'm not saying it's right for sporting decisions. Yes. I'm not saying it's fair for PSR rules. I think a lot of the other clubs, I think Newcastle, I'm not a fan of Newcastle, but they're going to get screwed over, and they're going to have to sell Isak. They're going to have to sell Isak, the player that helped them get to the level they're at for PSR and for sustainability stuff. But what am I supposed to say? It's like, I don't want him now, and he shouldn't come, even though that Newcastle are way higher. I want Isak. Give me Isak.
Right? I empathize, but it ends there.
It is what it is. It is what it is. That's it.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that's real.
And I'm so upset because when I saw Shirky was linked with United like 2 months ago or whatever, I was like, look, I rate Shirky. I was a big Hussam Aouar fan. I thought Hussam Aouar was so good. I thought he was going to be the next big thing. Shirky, I was like, I rate the guy, but I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket because you never know what happens. I don't want to look stupid later on if Shirky comes to United and Shirky looks dumb because Amrabat came to United and Amrabat looked dumb as hell. All right. So I didn't need my friendly Algerian neighbor to show up and look stupid at United. And now people are going to start saying, the North Africans at United stink it up. Right? I don't need that. But now that he's going to City, he's going to light it up. And now it's going to be, Riyad Mahrez and Shirky. Even though Shirky plays for France, we all know he's Algerian, his family Algerian. Yep. So City got the two Algerians, and United got Mahrez and Amrabat. PU, man, I'm telling you, this is the worst case scenario for me. I am so upset Shirky went. I am so upset because when Mahrez went to City, I wanted to rip my eyes out. I was so annoyed. And now to see you guys are going to get, maybe people are saying, obviously you've been seeing the tweets, the techiest player right now. The techiest kid right now. Obviously you got Yamal. But when we're talking about touch, we're talking about flair, we're talking about opposite foot, passing ability. Yeah, Shirky is him. I have the slander names ready though. Beef Shirky is coming. Just know that. Beef Shirky is coming.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Hey, see, you can tell he's a pro because what a way to close out this. Simo, truly, this was fantastic. Always a good time talking football with you. Please, you did it before, but let people know where they can find you and the things that you do.
You can find me on X, Simo Speaks, Simo Speaks. I'm also on Instagram under Simo.speaks, Simo, and YouTube, Simo Speaks. So if you just Google Simo Speaks, if you Google Voda Boy, you'll probably see me show up as well.
Oh, well, we're going back to Manchester United in a little bit over an hour. We go live with the homie Holloway to talk Manchester United's women's side. And then, hey, we're good for the week. This was a hard fought week, listening to a lot of other teams, having some fun conversations. So FanFest, Patreon, we'll see you in an hour or so. But until then, you know the vibes. Shady gang, shady gang, shady gang.
Shout out Jay Lings.